Conti, bella palla per Rebic, Ibra, Rebic, il tiro, goal!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host Ollie Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud.
What's up guys, glad to be back. 2 weeks in a row now, right? No, did I miss last week? I don't even remember anymore.
You did, it was me and Jan last week, but now we've got the three musketeers back together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was in Vegas, yeah. Had a good trip, thanks for asking.
Yeah, starting next week, I think it should just be the regular four of us since the season starts. So,
yeah,
hopefully we can pull ourselves together and be here for consecutive weeks.
Right.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. Well, this is it, boys. This is going to be a fun one. So we've got a friendly to recap, first of all. And then it is time for predictions where we all get to make a fool of ourselves. I
was right with most of mine last season.
You know what? Collectively, we did pretty well. What we'll do, so we're going to go through all the various categories, but it will also come out as an article for the website, so you can go and refer back to them and poke fun at us when we inevitably get things wrong. That's all in good spirit. And then we've got some good questions as well, so this should be a belter. Right, let's dive straight into it with another preseason friendly that I missed. I wasn't able to watch the game live, but we won, thankfully, against Panathinaikos of Greece at the Stadio Nerio Rocco in Trieste. I have no idea why they played the game there, to be honest with you, but they did. And I didn't realise that a third division team could have a stadium that's like 30,000 people. It looked absolutely massive. But yeah, we won.
In the top division, I think. Oh,
yeah.
Was it at Panathinaikos?
No, it was
at
it was in
Trieste,
Italy.
which, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said it was in Greece. My bad.
No,
Starting off on
Panathinaikos,
fire.
of course, are Greek. Yeah, we've never played them in a competitive game, which I didn't know. We've only played them in two friendlies previous, but it is what it is. We won 2-1. Giroud scored twice. I mean, that's pretty good, I guess. And then Tatarashanu made a howler.
That's
so
right.
It doesn't even matter, does it, really? Because he won't be starting next season. So essentially, we won 2-0.
I was a little annoyed that he even got minutes, with our final preseason game. We might as well have let Mignon play out the rest of the game and get more minutes since he's going to be the one playing. But whatever.
I'm going to use this opportunity to probably do the earliest question that I've ever done. But I want to throw it out there since we're in the key thing. It's obvious that Tatarashanu can't be depended on. Why do you think Plezari is getting shafted with little competition for the second goalkeeper role? Just to preface that, I think that Plezari should have played the second half yesterday. If he was determined to change goalkeepers, give the minutes to a young lad. We know what Tatarashanu is. He isn't really going to benefit massively from playing that second half. But who could do with playing with those new teammates in front of him was Plezari, and the poor guy got left on the bench again. So whether we actually do end up loaning him out, and that's going to come in the next week, I don't know. But I agree with the notion of that question, and I don't think it's been particularly well managed throughout this pre-season. Obviously, he did make an appearance, but
Tatarashanu is a fourth choice keeper as far as I'm concerned. He has no business being anywhere near the field. Like, I would almost prioritize a backup goalkeeper more than anything else, just because I dislike him so much. Like, we got to get someone else in there. The guy's terrible. I got attacked by a bunch of Romanians last season when I mentioned it, but he's proved me right every single time. So I don't need to see him ever again.
What makes you think that he's terrible? He made that one error against Roma and then was pretty faultless from then on.
Have you seen him since?
I saw that last night. We didn't know that was coming, I guess. I don't think he should have been playing, obviously, and I agree with that. But I actually thought that after that Roma error earlier in the season, which was a bad one, admittedly, he responded well. Like, he's never going to be an amazing goalkeeper. And it was hard when he was an understudy at the age of 35 or whatever to Donnarumma. But then I thought whenever he was called upon, he did okay. And then that last night wasn't good.
Okay is not enough for a goalkeeper. A goalkeeper has to be good. Like, goalkeepers aren't allowed to make mistakes. Every other player on the pitch can make a mistake and someone else could cover for him. Goalkeeper doesn't get that liberty, so goalkeeper has to be good.
There's also a reason why he's a backup.
Yeah, and there's a reason why he should be not a backup. He's just retire, get rid of him.
So on that, then, do you think that we should flip that order around and Plisari should be the backup and Tatarusanu an absolute third? I mean, Tatarusanu is very experienced. You know, he's got Champions League experience under his belt. He was the captain of the Romanian national team. You know, whatever you think that means. But ultimately, he could be a good mentor, I guess, to younger goalkeepers.
That's fine. Let him be a mentor. But also, we got Dita as a coach. We don't need another mentor in the form of someone who has experience and has more experience in not accomplishing anything. Like, we don't need him. He could go. I have no love lost for him. So give Plisari, someone I've never seen play in my life. I trust him as backup goalkeeper more.
And I think it would be a nice story because I remember in 2017 when it looked like Donnarumma was going to PSG, or, you know, there was the whole Raiola saga where he refused the contract and there was all the tweets and stuff. It was that same week that Plisari renewed his contract to send a statement as if to say, I'm here, you know, I can do this. And he was always talked about as being, we've got another Donnarumma behind, just waiting for if Gigio leaves. But I think he suffered a little bit from a lack of playing time, a lack of experience. He's been out on loan spells and not really set the world alight. But I'd keep him around and have him as backup 100% if he's happy with that. I guess it's one of those where, because he's so young, I think he's 22, you've got to put the choice to the player a little bit as well. You've got to say, look, do you think that, you know, you're one full season on loan of playing time away from being? And if he says yeah, then you probably let him go out. And then we've got Youngdahl as the emergency third choice keeper if we need him. But yeah, I mean, don't waste too much time on the goalkeeping department. Hopefully, Maignan can play 40 plus games next season. Obviously, he's entering his prime years, and we can cross our fingers that there's no injuries or COVID or anything like that. So yeah, the game overall, though, did either of you lads see it?
I did, but I saw it on a very dodgy stream. It was like the old days, you know, before anyone had rights. So I kept changing because I had to go through like 6 or 7 as they kept getting taken down, and it was laggy, low quality, foreign language. So it was difficult, but I watched it.
Thoughts?
Giroud looks great. I mean, we didn't look bad, but I don't know if it was like because we were playing a not great side or if it was, you know, are we really ready for the season? I think it's a combination of both, but at the same time, like you look at our midfield, you know, Benacer didn't start, Kessié was out completely, Kier didn't start, Zlatan's still out. Like there was a lot of mixture. Plus, we tried a new formation, so you can't expect everything to be picture perfect immediately, but overall, I'm happy with it, and I think going into the beginning of the season, especially with our first game being Sampdoria, I think we're in an okay spot here. I'm not too worried.
So one thing I will say is excellent goals. You know, if there's one thing that I wanted from this preseason, it's that Giroud got himself in form, because it's clear that he's going to be heavily leaned upon for the first 2-3 games of the season, while obviously Ibrahimovic recovers. And he really is in form. You know, he was feeding off scraps a little bit in the previous 2 games, but I don't think that they were terrible performances against Real Madrid and against Valencia before that last night. And I mean, I looked at Panathinaikos finished 5th in the Greek division last season, so I don't think they're not a great side. They're not even Europa League level, probably. But that's not the point. I guess it's a final drill. It's you know, another important 90 minutes in the legs of the players. And as I said, the main thing you want from it is to get your top players in form and in match rhythm. And I got that impression with Giroud. I've watched the extended highlights to kind of see. And one thing I'll say, and he's been praised for this by the media, his movement was spot on. You know, he's taking up that dangerous position off the shoulder of the centre back, and that's how the first goal came about. Interesting about the first goal was that, you know, you had Tonali playing really deep, and that allowed Tomori to just stride forward with the ball, and the whip on that cross in was absolutely sensational. And then I really don't think it can be overstated how difficult it is to hit a volley that sweetly with your instep into the I guess it'd be the far corner like that. I mean, that is amazing technique that there's only a few centre forwards in the world that can do that.
Is Drew left-footed or right-footed?
I think he's left-footed. So it was
so it was the strong foot. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to have to Google that. But that was good. And then the second goal, I mean, there can be some debate about whether he's actually trying to head that ball back across goal for somebody, or whether he's actually aiming. Yeah, he's left-footed. Or whether he's actually aiming for goal and he knows that the ball's going to spin in when he heads it that way. Either way, I mean, the positioning's there. The execution was there. It was a good soft header because he knew that was the only way he was going to get it past the keeper. If he'd have tried to power it in near post, the keeper's probably got it because he sprawled. But yeah, that was just so smart. And I'm really happy for him. I think that this, I hope that this is like a precursor of what's to come for Giroud, because if what happens is he scores in each of the first 2 games of the season, which isn't beyond the realms of possibility against Sampdoria and Cagliari, becomes very hard then to drop him for Zlatan, I think.
It depends on what formation we're playing, but also I think you start Zlatan no matter what. Also, I mean, we also have Champions League, so it depends on if Zlatan wants to, play Champions League over league play.
Well, you could argue
I think
that
you're going to get a good mix.
Yeah, you could argue that Giroud's the Champions League specialist out of the two because he scored more goals in that than he did the league. Yeah, last season. So it's good to have both of them, and I hope that we have both of them fit for the majority of the season, because like that would be big to have, two great options like that to call upon, and perhaps it would negate the need for the third striker. But this talk of playing a 4-4-2 won't go away. I don't like it.
I mean, that's what we did in this last game. So, and it actually looked good. My problem is they're saying it's proof that Zlatan and Giroud can exist together, but they're the exact same player. That's not why you have a 2-striker formation. You want 2 different strikers so they could build off of each other, play off strengths, mix it up, keep the defense guessing what you're going to do, whether one's a target man, whether one's going to run forward at the attack. You can't have the exact same profile on the pitch at the same time and expect them to work well together. It's, they're not holding midfielders. They don't play a double pivot. It's totally different. So I think this gives Leao actually a bigger opportunity for the coming season if we do a 4-4-2, because then we see Rebic at left wing or left mid technically, and then Leao up top with either Giroud or Zlatan. And we know that chemistry is going to work with him and Zlatan. We see it's working with Giroud as well. And I think that going forward might be our best bet with the 2-striker formation. The problem then is we're forcing Leao to become a striker, and we're using 2 of our strikers already. So it's like now we do need an extra striker. You can't play a 2-striker formation and have only 2 strikers on your team.
No.
I don't know. I think that creates a bigger problem for us than if we just stuck with a 4-2-3-1, in my opinion.
What do you think about it? Because last night he played Leao out on the left and he played Rebic up front with Giroud. So I wonder if
I thought it was the other way around.
Up top.
No, Rebic was up top and Leao was playing wide left. But then, I mean, I suppose the flexibility that comes with that is that you can alternate their positions. So if it isn't working for them, either of them, that Rebic can go to the left and Leao can play closer to goal. I think Leao, I really hope that we don't mess about so much with the system where we don't play with a left winger, because we've got 2 really good left wingers, and I feel like we would be taken away from our own strengths if we started trying to turn them into wide midfielders. But at the same time, if you're going to play that 4-4-2, then you definitely need a target man and somebody who can play as like an inside forward. And that's what we saw when Ibra first arrived and he played up top with Leao. And Rebic has looked good in that role when we've had to do that. But you can't play. It doesn't prove that Ibra and Giroud can play up front. In fact, if anything, it proves that we should be looking into the other ideas, having a target man and one of Leao or Rebic. So I don't know where that narrative has come from, but I've said before on here that I'm dead against that idea. You just don't do that. You maybe do it late in a game if you need a goal and you're just spamming crosses, but there's no starting them together at the same time is just daft. I mean, their heat maps just be on top of each other.
It's the easiest thing to defend when you know that all they're going to do is run to the edge of the box, corner flag area, cross it over, hope it hits one of the 2 of them. That's so easy to defend. You just load up defenders on 2 players. And it's done, Like you said, it's a late game strategy. That's a Hail Mary. And it'll work sometimes, but most of the time it won't.
So yeah, I mean that's a win to end. That's good because we obviously not scored in the 2 previous pre-season friendlies, and 2 goals and a win is the right way to go into the new season. Speaking of which, do want to talk. Well, actually, Kessie's injury first. We perhaps should have seen that coming. Is all I'll say on it. You know, when you've got a player with a workload like that, he's been Mr. Reliable for us. He's very rarely missed time, and then it just goes to show, doesn't it? Nobody's invincible. When you're playing that many games, going all over the world for various commitments, eventually it does take its toll. The good news is that it doesn't look like a muscle tear. It's more of a muscle pull or a strain. So still waiting on further tests by the sound of it, but he could either be back just after the international break or he could be out for closer to a month. So similar sort of timings. But I guess just let's manage him carefully.
I wouldn't even be surprised if he comes back earlier, to be honest. I think he's the type of guy that's will power through it, even though that's probably not the best choice, and that's how you re-aggravate injuries. But, I mean, he played 100 games for us within 2 seasons or something ridiculous, right? Like, he's been around. He doesn't take time off. And then to do all of last season in the manner that he did, plus the Olympics, I don't know. It just I wouldn't be shocked if he recovers quick enough to comes back.
I just hope that this isn't a season-long thing. I just hope it's not a consistent thing that's just chasing him the entire season.
That's why I would be willing to give him more than enough time that he needs.
Same.
But ideally, he will come back for the Lazio and Juve games that are straight after the international break. And
who is their second game? Sampdoria's first, and then who?
Cagliari at home.
So, okay, I think both of those are winnable without him, especially with Tonali hitting form, I think.
Yep.
But say we lose Sampdoria or we draw Sampdoria or we just don't look good and he's ready to come back for that second game, I wouldn't be opposed to risking it just so we get some points on the board going into international. Now, if we win that first game, then and he's still good for the second one, I'd let him sit out just to make sure he's rested, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on that Samp result.
He's definitely the type of player who would want to play the moment that he's fully fit. However, I just don't want this to be the start of a series of muscular problems, not just for him, but the team in general. Like, I just have it in my head that we're going to be battling injury problems again this year. I don't know why. I think it's just because of the season that we've come off. But it's going to be more important than ever to manage the loads of those key players because I think, as I mentioned last week, there isn't a Europa League group stages this year. You know, where in the Europa League group stages we were rotating and we were swapping players out quite often, starting Hauger and whatnot. In the Champions League, that's not going to happen. We're going to have to play our strongest 11 twice a week. Otherwise, we're going to get no points and finish bottom of the group in that. So, you know, we're in a position now where rotating smartly is more important than ever.
But another thing that plays into our favor is we don't have Europa League qualifiers. So that's like 4 games that we don't have to play, you know, in the beginning of the season. So maybe we're good. I don't expect us to go into December the same way we went into December last season. You know, I don't think we're going to win 15 straight or whatever ridiculous thing it was. Like, I just don't see that happening this season.
No, but
it's not because I think we got worse. It's unrealistic to expect that again.
No, but I think we do need to start the season strong to carry the momentum from last season.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
If we start weak, the entire mentality could just implode.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a fluke, you know. No, we need to get 2 wins in the first 2 games. I think we play Juve third week, right?
Lazio, then Juve.
Lazio third, then Juve fourth.
So I think the first 3 games have to be a win, and then this Juve game, it needs to be a win, but a draw would not be the end of the world.
Yeah, to be 10
I think we
points
could beat Lazio this season. I mean, under Sarri, who knows? They might show up great, but notoriously teams take a while to adapt to his style.
Right.
And I think playing them early is good for us.
Yeah, they've had a good pre-season of Lazio, I will say that. Not that people read much into it, but it sounds like I've seen a couple of videos of their goals, and it looks like Sarri ball is starting to filter through for them.
But that's the thing with Lazio; they always ball out against nobodies. Like, who did they play in preseason? I generally don't know.
Really can't tell with preseason because Everton looked like shit the entire summer.
Well,
and yesterday we
that
just
makes sense.
put a hammer down on Southampton. So
I would say you only beat Southampton. I've picked Southampton to get relegated this year. So, but still,
I was expecting us to lose. So
you're in for a shock, next week when you play the mighty Huddersfield. Please don't score 10 or something. That would be nice. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, workload management. I can't remember what we were talking about. Should we just go on to predictions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Right. Cool. For those wondering at this point, we'll talk about the 2 imminent transfers as part of the questions at the end. Let's go for predictions then. So what happened is I sent the 2 lads a list of different criteria. We've got to make our picks and just justify them a little bit. Jan is not able to be on this week, but he sent me his, so I'll read his out once the other 2 have said theirs. AJ, you can go first, then Maddie, then I'll give mine. And we'll start with the most obvious one. Where will Milan finish next season in the table?
Before we start, remember, Oliver, a small synopsis of why you think this, not like a whole 10-minute thing.
Yeah. No, we don't need your PhD thesis.
I might just say mine, and that's that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say we still finish top 4, but I'm gonna go with. I think we're gonna finish 4th this season.
Why?
And I wanted to say 3rd, but I'm going with 4th. I just think that Atalanta somehow has replaced all of their stars that they lost with equally or better players, and something about their system, it just improves year after year. So I think they're going to come and they're going to finish top 4 and probably above us. I think Juve with Allegri, I mean, their squad hasn't weakened at all. It's still the best squad in the league. And with Inter being dead, I think they're going to get right back into Scudetto. And then we're fantastic, except realistically, we haven't improved anywhere. We've made lateral changes, and Maignan is arguably a step down from Donnarumma, albeit a great keeper. I don't know if he's there, so I think technically we've probably gone down like a third of a notch. And I think Napoli's going to bounce back in strong form as well. I think Spalletti's just a serial Champions League qualifier. So,
you think Inter's going to compete for the Scudetto?
No, I think Inter's going to finish 7th. Honestly,
oh,
I think they're dead.
I was just like, I thought that's what you said, and I was like, what the fuck? Have you not been watching what's happened the past 2 weeks?
They're not getting Europe next season. So
okay,
they're done. Yeah.
Conference League 7th.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, right. I just wanted to say as well. Just before Maddie goes, I want to say, obviously we're recording this with 2 weeks left in the transfer window, so we're doing things as they are now. So like Milan could sign Ziyech and Vlasic, and things would then change our mind, but we just have to do it as things are now. So yeah, sorry.
I think we're going to finish 2nd again. I think that the team is going to feed off of what we did last season. I think that this is the most, I don't know how to say it, like team-oriented team that we've had in the past 8 years, where they actually look like they enjoy each other and enjoy playing. It doesn't look like they're struggling each week to just put on the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Giroud is going to come in and step in where Zlatan failed last season, the whole second half of the season, being injured. Not failed, but you know what I mean. He was the biggest flop, arguably, last season. So I think
that's going to get some bites.
I guess I won't talk about my order of the top 4 because that's next. So unless I should
answer both of those.
No,
yeah,
well,
fuck it. Just okay, whatever. So, Ollie, you're in charge.
Yes, right. So I've got us finishing. I'm between you. I've got us finishing 3rd. I think that the core of the squad.
Wait, Maddie, where did you say? I didn't even.
2nd.
2nd, okay.
The core of the squad is still intact. I'm happy that we've managed to bring back the players that we needed to bring back. I'm also kind of accounting for the fact that I still expect us to sign a couple of forwards, and that's going to be massively important for depth. And at this stage, I'm not really that asked who the names are. We just definitely need a number 10 and another winger. So I'm kind of factoring that in a bit, but I think it's going to be hard to have another division like last season. I mean, we got dragged into a top 4 battle last year, but I'm also counting for Juve being better under Allegri. So yeah, I've got us 3rd. And I don't think that would be terrible at all. You know, Maldini has gone on record as saying that what we need is consistent Champions League football. So I would snap your hand off for another top 4 finish right now. Right. So we're on to Jan Mario's. Jan Mario has got us finishing second. As I said last week, my head says second. I think we've done enough to retain that spot, but my heart says first. Consistency is our biggest weapon. Continuity, I guess he means there. Like us and Atalanta are the only team in the top 7 that haven't massively changed, you know, managers, players. So that I agree, that could be a big asset for us. But yeah, some optimism. We're all saying top 4. Who will win the Scudetto? AJ, you've basically answered.
Yeah, I think Juve. They're strong. Allegri's stronger. Inter's dead. So yeah, I think it's them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Juve are the favorites. Only because Allegri is back, but that team's old. Like, they're old, and I don't know if they could do it. And they are not as good as they were when Allegri was there last time. I'm going to throw a wrench in here and say Atalanta's going to win the Scudetto.
That's
fucking
bold. Hate it. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do.
Retire.
Gasparini dancing would just be unbearable. No, I like that. It's a bold pick. You should put some money on it. Atalanta. Yeah, no, I was tempted to pick them as well, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stay away from it. Juve, I've got Juve. I think they've got enough quality in the squad. They've now got a coach who is a proven winner again. They actually did well to get in the top 4 based on how bad they were last season and how inconsistent they were. And we now know that Pirlo was a large part of that problem. So they've brought back the guy who won them several Scudetti in a row. I think they'll be fine. I think that they'll be able to, you know, just lean on the star players again. Chiesa, Dybala, Morata, whatever you think of him. He scores goals in Serie A. And Ronaldo.
Before we go to John, I just want to go back to mine because for whatever reason, you hyping up Allegri just really triggered something in my mind. He's not that good of a coach.
I know.
The way I'm looking at it is like, he won it with us, but we were the strongest team in the league. Then we got second. We were still the strongest team in the league, but we were cheated, and we all know that. Then he flopped hard and was sacked. Went to Juve.
He also lost
when they were the only right. And when he went to Juve, they were the only team in the league for all the seasons that he was there. Now we're strong. Atalanta's strong. Juve's still definitely strongest. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to do as great as we all just said he's going to do.
He's an upgrade on Pirlo, though. And I didn't say he was a great
so am I.
coach. I didn't say he was a great coach. He's a coach that's won. And I think that's important.
But is it?
I took him to a Champions League final.
Oh,
yeah, but he also
Tottenham went to a Champions League final.
Yeah, that's true.
PSG went to a Champions League final.
Yeah, dead league.
Yeah,
bringing the Super League.
I hope that I'm wrong on that, but I just think, I mean, you picked him as well. I just think that things are going to kind of fall into place again. Are you just slagging off your own pick?
If you guys were choosing between Juventus and Atalanta, who would you choose?
To win the league?
Yes.
I bet they both win one game over each other this season.
Yeah, but who would you rather have is what I'm asking.
Juve, because I'm used to it. It's like whatever. They win, everyone's like, they cheated. Atalanta wins, it's a fucking story. It's Cinderella bullshit.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of that.
Cinderella bullshit, though.
Well, the rest of the world doesn't watch the league, so it will be to them. Just imagine all the Leicester comparisons that are unnecessary. Ugh.
I would rather Atalanta win it, though.
Same.
Just because, I mean, Juve are our major rivals along with Inter. Atalanta have always been, you know, that little annoying cousin from down the road. But at the same time, I think it would perhaps be a message to us that that model can work, you know, because we're kind of trying to do a similar thing by buying the young talent and developing it. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be something a bit different, but it's not great. It's lesser of two evils, isn't it? So Jan Mario says his heart says we'll win the Scudetto, but he sees Atalanta winning it too. Consistency is a big weapon.
Are like on the same wavelength right now.
You could be wrong. You could both be wrong.
I was going to say that. I wouldn't be proud of that.
John's made some bold predictions for a long time, and he has not been wrong a lot.
I think that Atalanta, based on them windows so far, have actually got better as a squad overall. They've been able to use the Romero money well, and I just don't know how they keep doing it, but they do. They keep making big money and they keep spending it well, so who knows? But then sometimes that amount of change can be bad, and it might backfire, all the new bodies, but we'll see. We'll see. Right, what's the next one? Top four in order.
Well, I kind of said that already, but Juve, Atalanta, Napoli, us.
I think it's going to be Atalanta, us, Juve, Roma.
Roma? Ooh, bold.
I think Mourinho is going to come in and surprise a lot of people.
Wait for this. You're going to like this, lads. I've gone Juve to win the league, Inter in second, us in third, Atalanta in fourth. Now,
well, why am I going to like that?
Because I thought you were going to laugh at the fact that I've picked Inter second. However, they have got worse, but they were so far ahead last season that plays into my mind. They've lost Hakimi, yes, but Dumfries is going to be a good replacement for them. They still need a number 9, I think. I mean, Dzeko's come in and he's an experienced Serie A goal scorer. I don't think it's dreadful. If they end up getting someone else like Duvan Zapata as well, then they've got Lautaro, Zapata, Dzeko. That's not awful.
They might have Lautaro.
I think he's probably going to stay. His agent seemed to say that, but then Lukaku said the same thing. Also,
his agent is the same agent as Lukaku's agent, and they said word for word the same thing. If anything, that's clear right? When he's gone. Yeah.
Pastorello, innit? Yeah. That's funny then. We'll see. If he goes, then obviously, yeah, it's going to be really tough. I mean, yeah, they are probably in the process of gradually liquidating assets at this point.
They also have a new coach.
But then, yeah, but he's a coach who is actually a good tactical fit to replace Conte, if you look at it. Inzaghi, you can say what you want. He won 4 trophies at Lazio in the time that we haven't won any. So he's not done a bad job there at all with limited funding. You know, Lazio have never had loads of money to splash around. And he'll go there and inherit a back 3, you know. I mean, Skriniar, De Vrij and Bastoni is still the best back 3 in the league. You know, I don't think Dumfries is terrible, but they've got Barella, providing he stays, Brozovic, and then, you know, is it going to be Çalhanoğlu in the midfield? Yes, that's going to be a little bit of a downgrade, let's be honest. And then, I don't know, Perisic at left wing back, and then they might be able to field something like Lautaro Zapata, or even Lautaro Dzeko isn't dreadful. I just don't think that. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're going to concede. I don't think they're going to concede many goals. Either.
I think Lukaku was like, it's going to be so hard to replace him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was everything on that team.
That's why I can't pick them winning the league. But yeah, I've got him second, and I really hope to be wrong on that. But it'd just be ironic, wouldn't it, if they finished above us again?
I just don't see Dzeko getting even double-digit goals in that team. I think that team was so reliant on a forward like Lukaku to just run through people. I mean, he spun Romagnoli to the bench. Destroyed him. Dzeko's not doing that. He's not doing that to anyone. He's not getting past Caldara. You know, like it isn't happening. And I don't think Dumfries is anything near Hakimi. I mean, he's good. I like him, but he's nowhere near Hakimi. And then you got an attacking mid with a half-working heart, so you're replacing with a guy with a half-working brain. Like it's not going well. It was yours, but I didn't know if you wanted to say it, so I went for it. But I just don't think, I don't know. I think they've downgraded everywhere. Even if stuff is like for like, which it is, you know, Inzaghi is baby Conte, that means he's worse. And I think I think it's going to hurt him a lot more than people are expecting.
I hope you're right on that, but I just tipping.
And just to bring in a little Premier League into this, we saw Spurs 1-0 beat City today. City really need a striker. Tottenham really realized they don't need Harry Kane. Now City's going to come in bigger money. Spurs are going to be more willing to accept it. They get rid of Kane, 100 mil or 150 mil. Now they're bringing Lautaro for 70. Inter's accepting every offer that comes their way, guaranteed.
That could also be true. That's a good point. I think the fact Kane were left out as well definitely shows that, you know, there's something going on in the background there, as we know.
Who's Tottenham's coach this season?
Nuno Espirito.
Santo. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Right, so that's my pick. And then Jan has gone Atalanta, us in second, Juve and Inter. So he's also got Inter in the top four. As I say, if they were to sell another big piece like Beryl Lautaro, I'm changing that because you just cannot function after losing so many big players. But they may be okay. Right, the 5th, 6th and 7th.
I got Roma in 5th. I think Mourinho is solid. Like Maddie said, I think his defense is going to surprise a lot of people. He's going to play that 1-0 ball pretty often. That said, they splashed a big penny on Tammy Abraham, who I don't think is going to do well in Serie A. I think it's going to take him a while to adjust. And a club like Roma can't afford to be spending 40 million on a single player. So I don't see them getting much more on top of that. And I think they're going to actually overachieve for what they are. So I think 5th is pretty solid for them. They're probably going to crash out of Conference League quickly because, let's be real, Italian teams don't give a shit about anything. So I think they'll be out of that quick and just focus on the league, which will do them favors. 6th place, going Lazio. I think they're going to struggle first half of the season and then be a force in the second half once Sarri ball kicks in fully. I think they're going to do really well. If they could hold on to Correa, which I think they will, that'll be big for them. And they'll do fantastic. I think Sarri with Milinkovic-Savic is going to be something to be afraid of for sure. It's just going to take them a while to click. And then I think Inter in 7th because I've said that for a million. Yeah, I don't know. I've already
think Inter and Napoli are going to finish even on points in 5th place, but Inter's going to take 5th. So 6th, Napoli. No, I'm sorry, Lazio. And then 6th, Napoli. 7th, Napoli. I'm all
7th, right? Yeah, that's. I think.
I was like, what?
I think that prediction changed like 3 times as you were saying it, but we'll go with it, mate. I've gone Lazio 5th, Napoli 6th, Roma 7th. I have massive question marks about Roma's decision to hire Mourinho. He's a name. He's won things, but the one big weakness for them last season was defending. So people will think, yeah, they've brought in a defensive coach. He won't be able to work with the defenders that they have available. I think he's going to find it really hard. Roma's strength last season, if anything, was outscoring teams. You know, Mkhitaryan, for example, got something like 10 goals, 18 assists, and, you know, he's 33 now. And they actually played some really good football. There was a period where I thought they played the best football in the league, Roma. So you bring in a defensive coach to kind of weaken your biggest asset. He could go and win a load of games 1-0. I don't see Roma's squad set up as one that's going to win a lot of games 1-0. So I've gone 7th. And then I think he gets the summer after with a bit more money to put his mark on the squad. I don't get the Abraham thing either, really. I think that is a big risk. That's a big amount of money. Chelsea would have probably been happy to accept a loan with option to buy, given the money that they've just spent. They've just said, no, let's risk it. Let's pay 40 mil. I think that's mental in this day and age. But hey, all power to them. Jan has gone 5th, Roma, 6th, Lazio, 7th, Fiorentina, if they keep Vlahovic. Interesting, because I think Fiorentina are going to be better this season. I put them and Sassuolo sort of 8th, 9th region, which actually isn't that great. But obviously, Fiorentina have hired Spezia's old coach, Vincenzo Italiano, who I think did really good given what he was working with there. And I think he'll do well at Fiorentina as well. So I like that pick. And 3 relegated teams.
I know I tweeted that I think Salernitana is one of the few teams that's actually improved, and I do think that, but they're going to be just hanging above. I think Empoli is a serial yo-yo team, so there's a good chance that they go down. I want to throw in Torino, but Ollie mentioned something to me pre-recording where I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And what team was that? Why can't I remember? Spezia is going to go down. They hired Thiago Motta as their head coach, which is bad news for everyone involved. So I think it's going to be Spezia, Empoli, and either Salernitana. God, am I just really going to pick all 3 teams? Yeah, either Salernitana or Venice, but I want to say Salernitana. I think Venice is going to stick up just because, I don't know, they got nice shirts.
And I disagree with the shirts thing, but sorry.
I like their shirts a lot. I think Valencia might go down, but they just signed two Americans are on the verge of signing a third, and I really don't want them to get relegated.
They're winning the league. More international trophies than any other country this summer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Spezia and Torino are going no. I can't even say their name.
Salernitana?
Them.
Yeah, cool. It's been a while since they've been back. I think it'd be a shame if they went straight back down. But I've gone Venezia, Salernitana. So that's two. And it's very rare that all three promoted sides get relegated. From what I gather, Empoli were really good last year in Serie B. Even though they've got a reputation as a yo-yo team, I think they're going to be okay this time around. I think they're going to stay for the second season. So I have gone Spezia, as AJ alluded to. They've lost a really good coach who, for me, was the value added to their squad. And they have replaced him with somebody who is a football terrorist, quite frankly. Jan has gone Salernitana, Empoli, Genoa. So I picked Genoa last year saying their time is up. But then it wasn't, they were fine. Genoa are like that, I don't know, they're like a dog that's on its last legs, but they keep staying alive every single time. I can't believe it. I really can't. Every time they have a good player, they're gone within a season, and yet they still find a way to survive. They have 3 head coaches a season, and they still find a way. They're bottom at Christmas, and they'll always find a way to get out of trouble. But Jan thinks it's time for them to go. Milan's top scorer, I'm going to say all competitions.
Zlatan.
Zlatan.
How many goals in all competitions?
I'm going to say... Did he have 15 in league or all comps last season?
15 in the league. Yeah.
So I'm going to go 20 all comps this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to win.
I was going to say 20, but now I'm going to say 19.
No flop of the season then for Zlatan this year. Then I am going to say Giroud. Giroud will be our top scorer this season because Ibrahimovic is going to get injured enough to make sure that he's not the top scorer this season. I've gone Giroud 17 goals all comps. What I'm kind of hoping is that our attack is pretty nicely spread there. If we get a new playmaker, new winger, Rebic chipped in with double figures goals in each of the last 2 seasons. Hoping for a season of consistency from Leao too. Some goals from midfield would be nice as well. So yeah, I've gone Giroud 17 goals. I can't say banking on the factoring in potential injuries to Ibrahimovic. Jan says Giroud too. Going to have a huge season for us. His bit of pre-season form means he'll score goals in Serie A. There. Next, who'll be the top scorer in the league?
Brahim Diaz. No other attacking mids coming in. That's our boy. That's who's starting. I bet he plays every single game this season, barring injury. And yeah, I think he's going to get boatloads. I said he was going to get it last season. I clearly was a season ahead. So
you just picked Brahim Diaz to be the top scorer in the league.
I swear you said assists.
No, assists is next.
Oh,
top scorer for us.
Everything I just said. Hold on to that thought.
I'm thinking you've not even picked him to be our top scorer, and yet he's winning the Capo Cannoniere. That's brilliant.
No, it's going to be Ciro Immobile. I think he's going to be back to form. Going to say 26 goals in the league.
Should do good, I think, under Sarri as well. He loves playing with that centre forward. But
I'm going to say Ronaldo with 25 goals.
That's funny. My pick is the Capo. I couldn't pick between these two, so I've said they're sharing it this year. Ronaldo and Immobile. I've picked them to each score 24 goals, and they will share the Golden Boot.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, that is funny. Jan has gone Immobile, always right up there, but Sarri's style of football might just get him to win the Golden Boot again. Yeah, fair. Who will have the most assists for Milan? And I know where you're going with.
Yeah, I'll save you the explanation. You already heard it. So,
Brahim.
Brahim, interesting couple of shouts for him. I've put new signing. Whoever we bring in to be the new starting playmaker, it's gonna be them.
So Brahim.
But then maybe. But no, I've put on a serious note, Rebic. If I had to pick anyone out of the current squad, I do envisage a new signing coming in, which makes me think that the logical choice out of the current squad is Brahim. But I can see a situation where he's not starting every week. I think Rebic is one of Pioli's favourites, and he will always start if he's fit. And I'm backing him to add that bit to his game. So I've gone Rebic, but it's a real tough one that at the moment. Brahim for our little Spanish wizard, says Jan. Fair. What are we on now? Most assists in the league.
Same thing. Brahim.
Bold.
That's what I said last summer. I'm just going to carry it over. I think last summer was a
I'm
trial.
going to say Chiesa. Okay. I think he had an awesome Euro and he's riding on a high.
I've also gone Federico Chiesa. I think, I don't know how many he got last year. I think he got 8 last year. But there was that whole period where he just didn't look to have transitioned well. But then the second half of the season that he had, and obviously the Euros that he's had, he's looking pretty good. He's looking at home. And I think under Allegri, the results are going to improve. The confidence will improve around him. And yeah, I think Chiesa is my shout. Jan's gone Dybala, probably for similar reasons. Didn't get. I thought he was ending up at Milan.
Just got a feeling.
He's signing a new contract. Milan's player of the season.
Tonali. I think he's going to get a lot more chances this season than last season, especially with AFCON. I think we'll get another center mid, but we're going to need 2 players because both Benacer and Kessie are going for AFCON. Did we lose Oliver? Okay, he's back.
Honestly, I was like, wow, he's really surprised about something right now.
Yeah, no, I was
like, oh.
I didn't want to interrupt you mid-flow, but I remember you saying you picked Tonali for your breakout, and this is the player of the season in general. It's like our best player in the season, and next is breakout player of the season.
Fuck, why have I done this 2 in a row?
I don't know what's going on with you, man, but I wanted to interject, but then you're in a flow, so we'll just have that as the answer for the next question. But yeah, player of the season.
It's Kessie. Kessie again.
Kessie.
Yeah.
Kessie,
he's good.
Mm-hmm. I've gone Teo Hernandez because I knew you two would pick Kessie and I wanted to be different. But on a serious note, I think that this is the season where he irons out some of the inconsistencies from his game. I like what I've seen in pre-season. I know it's pre-season, but he just seems to be getting better every single season. I mean, it's only 2, but I think this is it. This is his season. Fikayo Tomori, Jan says, they're going to be a key man for us this season in defence. Yeah, fairly accurate.
I just want to let you guys know that Atalanta's odds of winning the league are better than Milan's.
Yeah, so that doesn't surprise me.
As they should be. Breakout player Sandro Tonali for the reasons that AJ said. And Maddie?
Tonali.
Mm-hmm.
Same as the man.
I've got this blank because I couldn't think who to pick, and I'm still struggling for it now. So I'm going to say Matteo Gabbia. Don't know why. I was picking between either it being a young player or someone who's going to come in and surprise. And I think that for some reason I can see him getting a fair bit of game time this season, and I think people are going to be surprised what they see. I'm not saying that he's going to
get a lot of game time.
I think he is going to struggle with injuries. And then it depends how he views the centre-back pairings, but Romagnoli's probably going to play more on the left side, and I think Gabbia can come in and do a job on the right side of defence. And I don't know. I'm not saying that he's going to play like 30 games or start 20 games or whatever, but I just think that people will look at him during the season if he does play and go, yeah, he's pretty good.
I wouldn't be shocked if Maldini actually steps up this season.
Yeah, Jan's gone down.
I don't think he's going to be a breakout player, though.
Yeah, I think he'll just look better than anticipated.
I feel he's going to get a lot of game time this season and impress a lot. Agenda aside, I also think the real Belgian king of Milan is going to break out this year and shut a lot of his critics up. That's
He's going to be a
Salamanca's for
bench
those
player because we're getting Ziyech. But
Love that. Yeah, sure. I don't know if he has many critics, but anyway, that's that. That's the predictions done, boys. Well, best of luck for the season. That's what I'll say. And now we'll go on to questions because I've just seen the time and I know that these two are fuming. Rock A. Ward, are you happy with the Florenzi? Because you two weren't on last week, I'll ask now. Are you happy with the Florenzi move and what do you think his role will be next season?
yeah, I think it's a good move, and I think his role is going to be backup right back.
I'm happy with it. I think he's going to surprise us and play as a right wing.
I mentioned this last
If we
week.
do a 4-4-2, I could see it for sure. As a right mid.
Yeah. I mentioned it last week, kind of giving my thoughts then. I think it's a move that doesn't have a lot of red flags. You know, he's experienced. He's just won the Euros. He's versatile. He can play right back, right wing, wing back, central midfield. He's even played. He played left back in extra time of the Euros final. A lot of versatility there. Champions League experience. He's just come from PSG, which is obviously going to be an interesting dressing room. He's got experience in multiple leagues as well. I think his role will probably be backup right back. I don't see there being anything revolutionary where come week one he's starting on the right wing. But who knows? Who knows what Pioli has in mind? And definitely if we play a system with a wing back or we play a system with a wide midfielder, then he could definitely fill in that role too. So this is a player that we didn't mention last week, but we now have to bring up. Yassine Adli from Bordeaux seems to be the guy who's coming in for the midfield. Doesn't seem like he's going to be a number 10. He's going to be more of a deputy to Benacer. It's kind of the, ball-carrying member of the double pivot. I'll ask this question from Pontus Hagval. What kind of player is Adli? I guess he means, how do you think he's going to do? Are you happy with it?
I'm not the guy to ask that question. The only Adley I could think of is the cheap grocery store. So
That's
Aldi.
I know that was a joke. But
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Laugh. Ha ha ha. Clip that. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but he can't be worse than Krunic, so I'm sure he'll do a part as a backup.
Mm-hmm. So, as is my obligation with covering things, I've had a look into him. And I would be happy with this signing to an extent. I don't know. It's going to be hard to get excited, basically, isn't it, about a backup central midfielder. But he looks to have the makeup and the skill set and the characteristics of somebody who can fill in and do Benacer's role when Benacer needs rest or isn't available. He isn't going to be a player that I think is going to get many people off their seats. However, his strengths seem to be his dribbling. He's got good vision. He's got a really good long shot. The ingredients are there for him to do really well. Then you've got to be conscious of the fact that he's only 21 years old. He's definitely got some inconsistency. Question marks about, whether he'll actually play a bit further up the field. 10 million nowadays represents, for a player of that age who's in a top flight club, it represents a low risk investment. That's where we're at with the transfer market now. So I'm behind it for that reason, and I think it fully fits in with the kind of vision that we're going for. You've got to remember that Benacer only cost us 16 mil and is now worth probably 50 mil or more. Teo Hernandez cost us 20. So, those kind of 10, 20 mil investments, not breaking the bank, but also not scrimping out, probably going to serve us well in the future. So I don't mind Adli too much. He asked multiple questions to Pontus. One of them being, which I'll pick out, was about finances. I just want to briefly mention that there were more reports that came out this week suggesting our losses for the 2020-21 year are going to be halved from like 195 million to around 95 million, which is good news considering that we've got not any match day revenue because of COVID. So that is very good news. The interesting news that came out earlier from, let me look, I've forgotten the journalist that broke the news. I don't even know. What was he called?
Carlo.
Yeah, Paolo something. Carlo Festa from Il Sole 24 Ore. He said that Elliot basically are not against selling the club right now, which I think we all kind of knew. But he then went on to add some interesting things about how they know that they're not going to make a profit off selling us because we still make big losses every year. And therefore 700 million, which covers the amount that they've invested into the club already through capital injections, 700 mil might be enough to get it done. Now, we're back in the Champions League. Obviously, there should hopefully be some boosts in revenue with fans returning Champions League football and stuff. I think if ever you're an investor who was waiting for the right moment to take over a football club and that are already nearly there and just take them back into the elite, then we must look pretty attractive. They're going to be looking at us over Inter all day, every day, because Inter have got all those repayments to make and nobody wants to take that on. And that's going to really hinder the amount that Sunning can get for Inter. So who knows? We may see some movement on that front. I thought they were always going to stick around and see out the stadium project so they could sell for a profit, but maybe they're getting impatient. That being said, their portfolio's grown 12% to something like 42 billion. So it's not like they can't afford to run us. Is what it is.
Yeah, I think the stadium thing, they're just getting irritated. You know, you saw Scaroni's interview the other day. You could tell he's kind of annoyed that it's like, look, we've been trying. There's too much bureaucracy in Italy. Like, it's holding it up. That's why every other nation gets the job done. Like, you see Tottenham's new stadium came pretty quickly. Like, we just can't do it because that's just how Italian politics work. But I wouldn't be shocked if they sold us. I wouldn't be shocked if an offer of like $1 billion came in. You know, I know we only need 700 to break even, but Elliott doesn't break even, they win, and that's what they're going to do. Like you said, we're just a lot more attractive right now. It makes a lot of sense, especially a club that just signed 20 new partnerships last season. You know, we reduced our debt by half, essentially. Like 100 million is a big amount to cut off in losses. That's huge. So, and as far as football clubs go, like having 95 million in debt is not a lot. So I think we could do that. Plus, we don't have any outstanding debts. That's just, I don't know. It makes a lot of sense that now would be the time. And if there's any big oil titans that want to come in or Louis Vuitton that wants to get back in here, you know, it's welcome. Especially if Napoli's new jerseys are going to be from Armani. Why can't ours be Louis Vuitton? It makes sense. So,
it'd be nice with that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Until we have to pay $800 for a shirt.
Yeah.
Not far off that now, to be fair.
Sure seems like it.
Yeah. So Forza Domi asks, rate the percentage likelihood of each of these things happening. So I guess we'll just do it as a quick fire. Florenzi.
85% based off literally nothing.
Maddie?
I'm going to say 80%.
Yeah, this one seemed like it was going to get done really quickly, but it's held up a bit, so I'm going to go 90% based on that. Adley? Yassine Adley?
I thought that was done. Is that...
He's been left out of the game tonight by Bordeaux, so that, you know, seems to be a pretty big indicator.
I'd say that one's pretty high. That's like a really 90 plus.
Yeah, I agree. Vlasic?
65 at best.
Is this the CSKA Moscow player? Or that one for... Okay.
Yeah.
You had him at
I think it'd be fantastic, but I don't know. It seems like we're waiting for that last week to make any real moves, and by then it might be too late for them. But then again, if there's a club that's willing to go into the season without a replacement, it would be a club like that that's like not an important one.
They also have no money. They are making big losses. They were even talking about selling him to their big rivals, Zenit, but they've ended up going for somebody else. So I don't know. His dad came out and said he wants to move on. Basically, the manager's confirmed that he wants to leave. But then I just don't know if it's going to be to us because I think that they're going to demand a formula that we can't really commit to. So for that reason, I'm going to be really, really annoying and say that it's like 60% no. So 40% yes. Pobega staying.
Yes. I don't think he's leaving.
100% yes.
I mean, I guess I'm obviously missed a part of the story because I didn't know there was any talks of him leaving.
On loan, maybe.
Oh.
I think he's going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kessie injury makes things difficult. I would say if we sign another midfielder in addition to Adley, then he probably goes. But I'm going to say Pobega staying 25%. I think we loan him out again. I just don't see a role for him in the double pivot, to be honest, even though we've tried it in pre-season. It's going to be risky to do that in the big games that we have in January. There is a chance, I suppose, that he hangs around until January and then we sign a midfielder on loan in the January window and then we loan him out. But I'll say that. Castillejo leaving?
Unfortunately, not high enough.
0% chance.
Yeah, I think he's going to stay. I just don't see any club wanting him. If Getafe doesn't even want him, like, what are we going to do? We got to run this guy's... How much is left on his contract? If it's just a season after this, like, fuck me. I don't know. It's at the point where I'd say just terminate the guy's contract. Like,
well, this is the thing. Like, we sold Hauger, loan with obligation to buy for 12 million. By next summer, which is when the transfer will take place, his value on the books will be 3 million. So we're making a 9 million capital gain on that particular transfer. Castillejo's at the moment is about 8.5 million, so that's what we'd have to sell to break even. But I'm thinking, can we not just sell him for 5 million and just take that little bit of hit, given we made a big gain on something else? Like, the wages would be useful to allocate elsewhere. That's what I'd do at this stage. And then finally, Conte leaving.
I thought that was just near done.
I don't know where, but he keeps being left out of stuff, the poor guy.
I thought he was going to Venice with Caldara.
No, that was one of the rumours, but now it's happened. Sampdoria were apparently interested. Then there was talk of him going to Roma as part of the Florenzi deal, which I would love.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. His wages are a problem. Like, this is what we didn't realise. We're paying him 2 million net per year for a guy who gives you like 15 games a season. I'm not surprised that clubs aren't queuing up to take him.
15 games, but probably a total of like 50 minutes.
Yeah, that as well. I'm going to say 25% again. Maybe we take a little bit of a cut on price or we loan him out or something. But yeah, I'm not massively optimistic. Rohit asks, if you had to sign a player outside of all the names that have been linked to us so far, who would you sign? I like this one.
Outside of all the names that have been linked with us so far, ooh.
I know who he's going to say.
I don't even know who I'm going to say. So if you want to go first, go for it. I got to think.
Christian Pulisic.
I was...
Are we going realistic or not?
Yeah. Oh. No, I mean, we could break the bank, fuck yeah, but that's not happening. A name we haven't been linked with yet that I like. Damn, you know what sucks is because I used this one for ZH last season, and then it's all we've been linked with, and I'm like, it still hasn't happened yet. So I'm not too sure on it. Come back to me.
Mine is for the playmaker position, Hassam Aouar from Lyon.
We have been linked with him.
No, we haven't. I checked this earlier because
I trust Oliver more than I trust you. He writes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, I checked it earlier because I didn't understand. To me, it's fairly obvious that Lyon want to sell him. Now, yeah, they might be valuing him at 25, 30 mil, which is high end, obviously, but it hasn't stopped us being linked with Vlasic, who's a similar price tag. He can play the 10 role, but also can play central midfield. He's a good player, really good player, and I'm just surprised that we haven't been linked with him yet. And I think he'd come in and do a good job. So yeah, I'll say him. And AJ's struggling. I can just move on if you want.
Let's go. Have we been linked to Coutinho at all?
Yeah.
Fuck me, man. This is hard.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just get me.
Yeah, I think actually we're pretty much there. We've discussed the other topics as well. Yeah, that's it. Over an hour. Wow. An hour and 10.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a pleasure.
We were recording like 7 minutes before we started, so it'll be like an hour exactly almost.
Good. We've done well there. So yeah, one thing I'll say before the episode's done, get your predictions in. What I'll do is I'll pin the comment with all the categories and reply with your picks for each of the categories that we've done as well. Next week we'll do the Sampdoria preview, which will obviously come out on the day of the game, but it's just right to do it then. And thank you to everyone who voted for us in the Football Content Awards. The voting for that first phase is now closed, and then if we make it through to the finalists, there'll be another round of voting, so I get to pester you about that again. If you haven't already, check out our merchandise store. The link to that will be in the description. Subscribe and like the video. We'd really appreciate that. And yeah, I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. You can find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher, as it says on the screen there. And AJ.
Yep, happy to be here. Glad to be back. Hopefully we got back to regular cruise next week when the season begins.
I'm Maddie.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season to start. We can finally start to watch the team again. Hopefully we don't fuck it up. So
great note to end on. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we will see you in a week's time.
Andrea Conti, bella palla per Rebic, Rebic, Ibra, Rebic, il tiro, gol!